A woman, in order to avoid paying the bill, secretly took one of her own hairs and placed it in the plate. She then called the boss over to point out the foreign object. Reluctantly, the boss had no choice but to waive the entire bill for the meal. But the woman's intentions went beyond that. She stubbornly demanded $1,000 in compensation from the boss. At that moment, the boss's daughter, who had just finished her shift, saw what was happening. She picked up the hair and remarked that it was not as long as her mother's. She then pointed to the surveillance cameras nearby and said she would call the police. Seeing this, the scheming woman had no choice but to angrily leave the stall. However, the boss could never have imagined that this incident would directly lead to the death of his daughter. The next morning, the girl arrived at work and happened to run into the scheming woman. It turned out they worked at the same company. At lunch, the scheming woman mocked the girl, poured out her lunch, and humiliated her. But the girl was not someone easy to bully. She immediately recorded a video and brought it to the manager. However, the manager ignored her completely, even telling her to reflect on herself. In an effort to get the girl to leave the company, the manager pretended to give her the most difficult project, hoping to see her fail. The girl, however, was determined to take responsibility and do her best. Unbeknownst to her, the manager had already conspired with the scheming woman to complete the project. The girl worked late into the night, even when she got home. Seeing how hard her daughter worked, her mother felt proud of her and decided to reveal her true identity after the project was finished. It turned out the woman was the chairman of the company. She had hidden her identity and worked as a street food vendor to help the girl grow. Little did she know that her concealment would ultimately lead to her daughter's death. The girl, true to expectations, won the board's approval for her project. She was even awarded a large cash bonus, but the manager, hoping to pocket the money, lied to the girl, claiming that if she secured the client, he would also take his share of the bonus. The naive girl didn't think much of it and went to the place the client had arranged to meet. What she didn't expect was that the client was a notorious pervert. He immediately made inappropriate advances toward her. To defend herself, the girl had no choice but to offend the client, successfully driving him away. The manager and the scheming woman, seeing their project ruined, vented their frustration on the girl. Meanwhile, the woman was still downstairs, waiting for her daughter to bring back good news. But as she turned around, she witnessed her daughter jumping off the building. Frantic, she rushed her to the hospital. The scheming woman, wanting to see if the girl was truly dead, pretended to visit her. When she saw the girl still breathing, she prepared to pull out her oxygen tube. Fortunately, the woman returned just in time, stopping her from carrying out her plan to cover her actions. The scheming woman feigned guilt, saying that during the contract signing process, the girl had disagreed with the client, which led to the failed deal. Unable to bear the pressure, the girl had jumped from the building in despair. Just as the woman was about to believe the story, her assistant called, revealing the truth behind everything.